and justice for all.
May be seated. We'll call this meeting to order. I'll ask the clerk treasurer for a roll call.
Barnes.
Here.
Bradley. Hastings.
Here.
Lynch.
Here.
Pistol.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
You have in front of you the agenda. I'll entertain a motion second to approve that presented.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Motion second. Any changes? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
You also have in front of you the minutes for the August 17th meeting and also the 24th budget meeting, along with the monthly financials. I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve those as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
That brings us to department head reports. The first one is the airport commission. I don't see Jason or anyone here. Alex, who said he wasn't going to be here. All we have at the airport, it'll be down in one of our resolutions. It's going to, I need to get permission to sign off on a lease agreement that's we've already actually utilized. It was for $136,000 and change. It was for LED lighting and patch and seal the runway, which was badly needed. It was 100% paid for. No city funds were used, so that was good. Also, at this time, I want to fill a spot on the commission. Tom Fleming stepping down. I've been looking for a replacement for him. Talked to Scott Jones, Western Sizzling. He used to fly. I think Jeff's dad taught him to fly. I talked to him. He said he'd be willing to fill in, so I'd be glad to serve that. So I entertain a motion in a second to appoint Scott Jones to the Airport Commission.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Second, any discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes.
Yes.
Hastings.
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Pistol.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
And we meet tomorrow at noon, and it was gonna be in the new hangar. I think Will's under the weather, Will Dawson, so we talked about encouraging everyone to come that could. It was in the city or work the city, but I think the meeting's just gonna be here at noon tomorrow, so, and maybe we'll do that next month. That's all I have on the airport. Thanks. Brings us to Animal Control, Officer Tim Pike.
For the month of August, I took 14 calls and I picked up one cat.
Saw that, no dogs and no tickets written.
Were
A
you
couple
there?
of skunks passed away on 65, I noticed.
Well, that's Ron Taylor.
Yeah. I think that was a chuck wagon race.
Yeah.
Any questions for Tim? Okay.
I would like to say one other thing. I was notified from the animal control the other day that Cleburne County's had one case of rabies
Okay.
in a skunk equipment, so that's not far, so I'm pushing the vaccination pretty hard right now.
Sure, you mentioned that. Yeah, the Clinton has a share of skunk, we were just talking about that, so. Okay, thank you, Tim. Lori Treat sent me a text. She has 25 dogs at the shelter right now. One dog is in foster care, in a foster home, and she has 7 cats. And I think Will and I are going out tomorrow to look at that. Having a hard time getting a plumber out there, and they're still having to manually turn the water on and off, so we're gonna try to maybe alleviate that. Anything else on animal control? All right, thanks. Brings us to fire department. Thanks, Tim. Chief Webb.
I don't have a whole lot to report this month. We had one false alarm. We did have one car fire by the tobacco warehouse. The police department showed up and had that pretty well taken care of before we even got there. Sean has been taking the fire truck out to help the animals, the arena for the fair that's going on, keep the grounds wet for them. Halloween is coming up. I've already been asked a couple of times about Scare on the Square. It falls on a Sunday this year, October 31st, and there's people have been asking about doing it on Saturday. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose in a roundabout way, because the whole purpose of this is to keep the kids safe, and I don't think that's going to stop them from trick-or-treating on the 31st. So I guess I'm asking y'all what you think we need to do. Do it on a Saturday or do it on the Sunday, which is actually October 31st.
I can't remember what we did in the past, but anytime you were in on it, it's worked. So I don't have a problem with it.
Well, the safety of the kids is our main concern, and if they're gonna be out getting candy around the neighborhood, I'd rather do it on the night they're gonna do that. So unless the city council says that the city is going to do it on Saturday and mandate that to everybody, which I don't think that would be a good thing to do, we'll plan on doing it on the 31st on Sunday night. And what I'd like to do if we do that is get with the local churches and see if we get them involved to do it on the 31st on a Sunday. So that's what we'll shoot for, if that's okay with y'all. I would like to be able to go ahead and put out bids for a fire station or fire truck. There was a little holdup on it. The company that was bringing it down here, their truck broke down, so they had to get another truck out of Texas to go get it. But I think from after talking to everybody, it should be in Conway today. So we hopefully will have it within the next 2 weeks. But when we get it, we're gonna have a place to put it. So I'd like the okay to go ahead and put out for bid of what we're gonna be looking at for a fire station.
Yeah, I don't know if you need motion and second, but just, anybody opposed to him doing it? No.
Cause we'll have to run it in the paper and all that, so. Other than that, that's all I've got.
Did you get my message
Which one?
about fundraiser?
I did, but it was late at night and I go to bed early when I can.
I
so.
go to bed late and get up late. Sorry. So what do you think about that?
Refresh me without going
It
back
was
to
a
my text.
shrimp boil, and they do that at Gris Ferry, and they usually raise money for their fire department. And they usually do it on Labor Day, but I thought we could do it once we announce the fire truck.
To be honest with you, I have never cooked a shrimp in a bowl before, so I have no idea.
Yes,
So
Mark has.
if you would like to do that, I'm all for you.
We have fish cookers, I mean, they're only used once or twice a year, aren't they?
I'm up for anything. If we can get together and get something going, I'm all for anything.
Well, since I'm on the fire committee, I think we should do that. I could get somebody to cook, and
Yes, sir.
I'll cook myself.
Tim's a good cook.
I don't know, I just thought it would be a good idea, like,
Is that because Heber's done it, or
no, because we need to raise
Gris
money
Ferry's
for
done
our,
it.
and they do very good, but I was thinking it would help us raise money for it. We put it on the building, put it on the fire truck.
sound like a winner to me? We can organize something, I'm all for it.
Have you got any figures on what the building will cost?
I've talked to two different people, and that's why I say I'd like to put something out for bid where everybody's bidding apples to apples, because I've got two bids in that, or two people that talked to me about it, and one was $250,000, the other was $150,000.
Talking about a side right next to one up on the four-way on
Yes.
location wise?
Behind Walmart, the one we have up there, the station we have there.
Okay. Anything else for the chief?
Did you get that figured out, that land figured out beside the fire department?
We
Right.
still need to meet with, we was waiting on him to come back to meet with the Reynolds brothers.
To see if we could have.
Landowners, yeah, I think, we're supposed to be later this week. We said a couple of weeks after the holidays.
Probably sometime we can try next week. Meet with them.
Okay.
Whenever I'm ready.
Anything else? Thank you, Chief Webb. Parks and Rec and Street Department, Charles Wilson.
Not a whole lot going on. Got a couple of bush hogs down. I got parts ordered. Apparently, nobody has the parts I need. One part's over here in this part of the country and the other part's over here, so I'll have to wait till they come in. Park, we got back on the park. I guess there's a couple more things going at the park. Not this weekend, but next weekend. They got a cornhole tournament or something going. Going to be a pretty good deal for the hospital. We'll get it all cleaned up and get it ready for that. like I said, the bush hogs are down, the street department, so we're kinda in limbo for brush cutting or for bush hogging right now, but it'll all start coming back together again in a week or two. We started on the lights at the tennis court, got, all the bottle boxes hooked up, got the wires pulled to that. Just waiting for something that'll reach up high enough to put the fixtures on and pull the rest of the wires.
And his last email was, it's been a while back, was, you saw it, was, hopefully sometime late September, early
Yeah,
October. So
on the finishing, that's,
on
I mean, but we'll get our part done regardless. As soon
Right.
as we get something that'll reach 35 feet and get all the stuff hooked up, so.
cool.
But it looks different over, it changes ever so often. If anybody's got any questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability here.
Did a good job on the wagon races and everything, and it, with the police too, went pretty smooth. And
Yeah.
I think that whoever came up, maybe, I don't know, all y'all, like getting across 65 at one time seemed to be a pretty good idea. A lot less stress, I think.
I liked where we put it, cause it got everybody out of town and out of the way pretty quick, so, I mean, that actually worked out pretty good this time, so.
Everyone I spoke to, like, and down at the races and stuff, the people that I ride with and camp with said they enjoyed where you guys fed and everything this year, so.
Cause I mean, it's just across the river and they can go anywhere they want.
And it's a quick ride back after the heat.
Right, that's, yeah, I think they were like,
You know.
Fish was dry, I didn't much care for it,
I gotta get some.
No, it was awful.
but Fish was really good.
It was good.
So, but yeah, it all went without a hitch. I think we've moved it 3 times successfully.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
I figured it out, so.
Got a good team, everybody plays their role, Clark, all of them. So,
Anything else for Charles Wilson? Okay, brings us to Police Department report, Chief J. Miller.
Not really much outside of my department report, just a couple things and let y'all know about. Our police dog Terry has developed pretty, I wouldn't say severe, but pretty developed arthritis in both of his front shoulders. So just due to the health and safety of the dog, excuse me, we're gonna go ahead and have to retire him, just to let y'all know. Excuse me. I've been asked if we're gonna have any plans to get another police dog. Not right now, maybe in the future, we may have to come back and revisit that. So unfortunate, he's a young dog, but we got the vet's opinion, they sent the x-rays in, I got a second opinion on him. And they said that the longer he works, the worse it's gonna get, so instead of working him till he just can't hardly walk anymore, we just decided to, between the handler and I, we just talked to also the mayor and went ahead and retired him. Just let y'all know about that. With that being said, if we do get another dog, we're probably not gonna put it in a truck. Like I said before, we're trying to get out of the truck business for patrol cars. The insert that Josh bought is for that truck. I'd like permission, if you guys are okay with that, to try to put that out for resale so we can recoup some of that money that we put out. Since if we do get another dog, it'll end up going into a car. And I just need y'all's permission to do that.
Okay, you need a motion second?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Yeah, motion second to approve, putting that out to sell the, dog.
Insert.
Insert, yeah.
So make a motion.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion? Question?
Is there anything, because that was donated and this and that it's been a time frame, you know, been how many years?
The dog or the insert?
The insert, or was it purchased from?
It was purchased through donations, but I couldn't break it down to return the donation.
No, I mean, you know, and sometimes things like that will have so many years or something.
No, sir, there was no, when it was donated to us, there was no, hey, you need to work that dog box
Yeah,
15 years,
yeah.
or anything like that. It was just for this canine unit.
Well, there shouldn't be any liabilities on selling.
Not that I know of, Chad.
I mean, there's some paperwork we need to look at, but if someone just donated something to the city,
Yeah.
we put it back to city general use, as long as there's not a grant tying it to some specific use,
No, sir.
no restrictions.
Do we have the,
Murdoch, do you think we'll ever have a truck, just one truck in the fleet?
Yes.
We need to keep that and keep it as a dog, since we've already got the insert?
So the truck eventually that we're just gonna keep is the one I normally drive. And the insert is too small for that year model truck without some pretty major modifications.
do we have the factory interior to put that back, like the back seat back in there and convert it back?
We've done it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I was just thinking if we start picking up in the city for animal control,
It-
should we keep that?
If we decide to do that, I mean, we can. But the majority, if we have an officer that's gonna do the majority of the animal control calls, like you guys heard Deputy Pike say, he took 14 calls in a month. Whatever that number was, it was right around there. It would just be just as easy to buy a crate for the back of the truck and just load animals into that. So that way, if whoever officer is assigned to that position needs to take a call and make an actual in-custody arrest, we've got that back seat for them to be able to do that safely.
That's pretty much what he does, isn't it? He carries a crate,
Yes, sir.
puts them in a crate, yeah.
Any other questions for Jay? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Last thing I've got, one of our trucks has developed a engine noise. I took it down to Cowboy Dodge, and it's the same issue that the truck that we sold Will was having. The lifters are going out. The repair bill, theirs was what, 4,000 for some change? So I've got the money within my budget to get the repairs done if it's right around less than $5,000, but with it being over the $2,000 limit, I just needed approval for y'all's go ahead and make that repair.
I'll entertain a motion second to approve $5,000 out of that line item for repair for Officer Murdoch.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a vote.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Anything else?
Other than that, I think I've been with the Clinton Police Department over 10 years now, and I think this is probably the smoothest chuck wagon race weekend we've ever had, at least that I can remember. A lot of that was up to Charles and his crew and DL helping with the fire truck when we had the parade. That really helped us out a lot. And I really think that the city came together, just from my perspective, to make this probably the safest chuck wagon weekend that we've had since I've been a police officer here. So I just want to say thanks to these guys that went out of their way to help us.
Yeah, y'all did a good job. The truck out 65, everybody got everybody's attention. We got them on and off at the same time. And your officers were out 9:30 that night helping the guy fix his tire, so I noticed that. So, yeah, had a really good, was very safe, so thank you for that. Anything else?
That's all I had, no sir.
Thank you, Chief. It brings us to Water and Sewer Department. Will,
All right, so our water loss for the city of Clinton, or for the whole Clinton department, was 29%. That is up from 25% last month. It's been a while since I've actually I reported that it went up, but we had a big stack of reports from leaks and stuff, and I went through them, and so we did have a lot of leaks we fixed and everything, but we ended up with 29% water loss. Burnt Ridge was 31%, that's down from 51. We did have we found 3 major leaks in this last month at Burnt Ridge, so that's what brought that down. Denard was at 39%, so it's bouncing back and forth from month to month too, so we got Quasmeyer out there, and it's pretty hard to guesstimate how much you lose on each one of those leaks, so we get them moved out, they move on to greener pastures. Maybe we'll have greener pastures, but our expenditures for chemicals is staying about the same. It's still up a little bit. We're at 16 cents per thousand. Most of that's due to that manganese this time of year. We're having to spend a lot of money on that permanganate. Chemical prices have went up. We received 2 letters, one letter from the chemicals that we buy for the water plant, and the others was the chemicals we buy from the sewer plant. They are increasing also, so they took a pretty big jump.
I was gonna say, somebody asked me that, the chemicals went up and like 10%, 20%.
Yeah, they took it about, they're expecting a jump now and another jump before the first of the year. It's gonna be close to about a 30% jump overall, yeah. Which, you know, I've seen more than a 30% jump in all my parts. I mean, there's actually another, I think we got by with it, but there's the main resin plant that they use to make all of our pipe and everything. I think it got missed during the storm, but they were expecting maybe it get hit. And if it did, we would have had a major shortage, so, but I think it survived, so that was a good thing. We did talk in our board meeting earlier today that Donna, she let us know, and Dina could probably see this too, is postage went up 4 cents. So every time we send out a bill and everything, I mean, that's 4 cents per bill. We send out a lot of bills, you know. We talked about maybe ways we can try to get more people to start using paperless, you know. A lot of, we do, Donna said, I think she said we're around 80 customers right now just receive email, you know, and right now we're sending email and hard copies to those customers. So we may cut back on that and try to promote more bills through email. So anybody that's listening out there, anything that would like to have theirs sent by email, just contact the water department and we can switch that over for you.
Okay.
Text message.
Text message, yeah. We talked about this, you know, in the meeting earlier. Jeff brought up, is there going to be a way to pay this on this app that we've got now through Beacon? You know, I think when the guy come and talked about that, he did say he thought that software was out there. It's just not being used right now. So I do foresee in the future where you'll be able to do like Paging does and get on there and look and see everything, and that you'll be able to see your bill and pay it too. So, and I'm totally for that. So whenever that comes around, we'll get on board.
You know when he's gonna be coming back? Cause you said one time that he was gonna be coming to go over the app again. Got some technical problems going on with it, so.
He was here, what, 2 months ago?
So I just missed that one?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. That's why I scheduled it. Yeah, I knew you weren't gonna be here. No, but he was, I think he was here about 2 months ago, so.
How long do you think for that upgrade in technology?
Like I said, I mean, I don't wanna make this up, but I wanna say he thought it was out there. They just weren't, they weren't putting it out to the customer yet. Probably trying to see if there's any flaws and stuff in it.
He being their company?
No, not their
Okay.
company. I mean, he's just the
So there's
representative
that
for who
software.
it'd be that software company. So he thought it was out there, they just weren't offering it.
Okay.
You get to thinking about it, you know, you talking about money and transferred through there, you would wanna make sure all the glitches was out of it before you put it out, so.
Okay, anything else for Will Hinchy?
I seen all the guys down there by the fairgrounds an hour ago.
Yeah, we,
Had
I'm not gonna say that we were lucky that we had 3 leaks on one street, but at least we spent all day in one area, didn't have to transfer vehicles a lot. And then tomorrow morning, we'll be moving out towards the lake. We've got 3 leaks lined up for just stair steps down 330 and Eddy Lane. So, we're working in the same area, not having to travel a lot, so.
You mentioned the supplies, I guess, you can get pipe now, right now?
Right now, there is a little bit more lead time, and I will tell you, I'm trying to keep more in stock right now than we ever have before. I'm trying to keep a minimum of 100 foot in each size pipe that we have. You know, excluding 16-inch and 14-inch pipe, it's hard to have that much on stock. But from 2-inch all the way up to 8-inch, we're trying to keep at least 100 foot in the shelves, and we're trying to at least have about 6 of each size fittings. And normally we didn't do that, but they're saying 2 weeks right now, and it could get more. So right now, both the suppliers we buy from are bulking up and stocking up more also, so we're pretty fortunate.
Anything else for Yeah. Thank you. Brings us to zoning department, Tim Clark.
The H&R Block project, they're just trimming out the inside and they're working on the parking lot, so they're getting pretty close to finishing. The Mexican restaurant did a rough-in electrical inspection on the dining room and the bathrooms. They're working on the kitchen now, so they've still got a little ways to go. I did actually get another phone call from a contractor about another Walmart remodel. I don't know how many times they're gonna remodel, but I haven't seen any plans yet, so. The A&P Commission is gonna be looking at next year's budget over the next couple of meetings, so if anybody knows of anyone that's gonna have an event or something here in the city and wants some sponsorship or partial sponsorship, get in touch with me, somebody on the commission, or just come by City Hall to get an application so we can consider that to put it on our next year's budget. I think maybe everybody's familiar with I thought Richard was gonna say something. The Yellow Jacket stakeout that we do every year for the football team. I don't know how many years we've been doing that gala. Austin and Garrett were sophomores, so probably around 9 years, something Steve Good came up with. And that's one of those events that not only do they donate the steaks, and I know a lot of people that donate things, but they also bring the grills and they stand out there in the pouring down rain or the blistering heat and they cook them and they serve them. And we were gonna do that day after tomorrow, but we postponed it to the 18th because of Andy Shaw's funeral. It's gonna be Saturday at 2 o'clock. And I know some of y'all knew Andy pretty good. He was a good guy. And he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah, that's Saturday, visitation is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 6 to 8.
6 to 8, and Roller and Conway, right? Or I may have,
I think it's at Friendship Baptist Church in Conway.
okay. Anything else for zoning? Okay. Thank you. Brings us to old business. There is none. New business. The first is an ordinance, first reading of levying the millage, something we do every year. In front of you, ordinance. I'll entertain a motion second, then we'll discuss it. Levying 2.9 mil real and personal property tax for general operations of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, and for other purposes. Whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas is required to pass an ordinance setting forth the millage rate for property taxes to be collected for the city of Clinton, Arkansas in the next year, and whereas the city of Clinton, Arkansas desires that property taxes for the year 2021 be set at the same level and assessed and collected in 2022, and whereas such an ordinance must be passed and provided to the Van Buren County Assessors and Collectors Office by the time of the Van Buren County Quorum Court's November meeting, now therefore be ordained by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1, the City of Clinton, Arkansas hereby levies and assesses a 2.9 mil property tax on real property and personal property in Van Buren County as prescribed by law for the year of 2021, which tax shall be collected by Van Buren County, Arkansas. I'll entertain a motion in a second to put that on the first reading.
Make a motion, we put it on the first reading.
Second, any discussion? And we're gonna have some discussion, I think. Jeff?
Yeah, I wanna look at this. Of course, we got 3 readings on this, but I know we didn't get a liquor store in the city of Clinton, but we have got revenue from alcohol sales. And I wanna look at trying to roll this back a little bit. I don't know how much yet. Richard and I are gonna go down tomorrow and
As with 215, this is notes from last year. Jeff said the same thing. I was talking today, said, what about that 2.9? Go out tomorrow and, we'll come back with some hard figures for our budget meeting. So this is just the first reading, and you, if you vote for it or whatever, just get it going, and then if we amend it, we can still just keep the reading, so.
That was on the alcohol restaurant sales, using that.
This is just a 2 mil reading that we do every year.
Right, but I mean, to drop the millage would be from the alcohol sales of the restaurants.
And also for the,
No, remember, we passed a resolution before the election saying that if it became wet, and then if we
Right.
get a liquor store in the city of Clinton, we will do a study to look at what kind of revenue increase we're gonna get, and then, try to roll the millage back. We got the wet county, we didn't get the liquor store in the city of Clinton, but
Right.
we still get some benefit from beer and wine sales, Walmart and Cash Savers and all the gas stations. So I think we've got
we get additional revenue from the bond sunsetting, and,
that too, yeah, so I just think it would be a nice thing to do to try to roll this millage back to the citizens of the city of Clinton.
any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Brings us to a resolution. It's designating and authorizing the mayor to execute a grant for the Clinton Municipal Airport. I think I mentioned this earlier. It was a $136,000 grant. The resolution reads, a resolution designating and authorizing the mayor to execute a grant agreement for the Clinton Municipal Airport, whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Aviation Administration has offered the city of Clinton a grant under the Airport Improvement Program. A copy of the grant offer is attached hereto and incorporated herein as Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1, that the mayor and the signatory agent or the successor of said agent is hereby authorized and directed to execute that certain grant agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A. And it was, Dan Clinton said it was $136,000 and change. Work's been done, just need to sign off on it. 100%, the cost of the city 0%, no money. But it was for the, filling the cracks on the airport, seal coating it, and putting in the LED lighting. So, I'll entertain a motion, a second, to approve that.
I thought it was the 80-20 grant, so.
This is, I think the 80, if it is 80-20, it's, the federal pays one, the state pays for the other. I don't know how that works.
I'll make a motion.
This is.
I'll second it.
After we say it.
100%, that's great.
Yeah. It's 100% paid for.
Great.
Here's the nuts and bolts of that. Anybody else like that?
Mm-hmm.
Any discussion, any other?
I need a second.
Second.
I thought we
I'll second it.
Discussion? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Brings us to final new business resolution, intent concerning animal control operations. This was brought up in a budget meeting last couple of weeks ago. This is a resolution designating and authorizing the mayor to execute a grant agreement. Sorry, wrong one. This is for the,
I got it from you, can read it?
yeah, you can read that. I don't know where to put it.
A resolution of intent concerning animal control operations, whereas the city currently pays to Van Buren County, Arkansas, an amount equal to 1/2 of the total payroll burden for an animal control officer. And whereas in consideration of the above, the Van Buren County Sheriff's Office assumed responsibility for animal control operations within the city. And whereas the city council believes the citizens and taxpayers of Clinton would be best served if the Clinton Police Department assumed responsibility for animal control operations within the city, and is examining options for funding said operations in the 2022 budget. And whereas the city council recognizes that the decision will impact Van Buren County's budget and desires to notify the county of its intent during its budget cycle. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Clinton, Arkansas, Section 1, that the city of Clinton City Council Budget Committee will examine the budget impact caused by the Clinton Police Department assuming an animal control operation.
I entertain a motion and a second to put that in with.
I make a motion.
I'll
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I think that was brought up that it's not unsatisfactory service, it's just a utilization, when we have a call in, or we have someone on duty right there. And it was suggested that if we're considering taking up on the city itself, and talking to Chief Murdoch, that we need to inform on the front end while county and the city are working on their budgets in advance. This may be a possibility. May leave it like it is, we may not. But that was the intent of that. It wasn't anything that displeased Officer Pike. It's just, is it better for us to do it ourselves or not?
So, would this be, say, one position or one person or everyone in the department?
I think that's
No.
I'm sorry.
Nothing, he was asking about the nuts and bolts, if we decided to do that with the police, okay, well, now I think that came up, someone asked if we sell this unit, this insert, or whatever you call it.
So in the budget meeting, we all asked for kind of what our wish list was. One of mine was maybe another officer, and I can't remember which council person brought it up, said, hey, if we took over, okay, Mr. Pistol, if we took over animal control functions at $20,000 that we pay the sheriff's office, maybe we could help offset the cost of another full-time officer. And then once again, once you guys decide as a group if we're gonna go that route or not, then I can come in with a better plan of exactly how we will staff that position.
Basically, give everybody a heads up that this will be a consideration, so.
I think that's a good idea to look at it, but I also just keep in mind that, you're talking two distinct little areas when we talk about animal control. You're talking about the personnel side of animal control, and you talk about the infrastructure and all those things as far as the shelter is concerned. So I don't have a problem if we leave whatever agreement we have with the county in terms of infrastructure and facilities and those kind of things.
This is just the agreement on the salary.
If it's just personnel, then, yeah, if everything doesn't change, then we probably got a better shot.
That's his point, we're tied in with county, we pay for half the building, we own half and they own half. So.
We're gonna put kennels at your house. That ain't all right?
Hmm?
We were gonna put kennels at your house.
I've got enough. I might have two openings, I may have two openings, since both of mine want the $2 to everybody live under the same roof, so that's the battle that I'm fighting with mine. I'm hoping to win that battle.
Yeah.
It was suggested in that meeting, if this is a consideration, you need to make a and just out of consideration of your county that we're tied with, they need to know that could be an option. Whether we do that or not, it's just something. Okay.
I'll just kind of point out, just kind of touch on your issue. There's kind of two different sides to the animal issues. There's the animal control side, which is kind of a policing thing anyway. And then there's the shelter side, which is, they're kind of two separate functions. The control side is kind of what I think y'all are talking about. The shelter side is gonna be its own thing that's already happening.
Well, my original question was, and it's preliminary, we got, if it even goes that direction, was the thought of, way I read it and Richard talked is, there would be somebody readily available for say, but would that be one person doing the animal control, or would the whole department kind of do the animal control?
So kind of, and again,
It's preliminary.
I'm still just kind of fleshing out kind of how we would run that. Obviously, it's always better to have a person that is trained, that's their thing. That's, they know all the laws, they know how to do all the stuff. But, if it's an after-hours thing, the trucks that we still have in the fleet, if our officers need to pick a dog up in the middle of the night, we'll just have the on-duty officer do it. I mean, that's what we're doing now when Deputy Pike's unavailable. I didn't put it in my report because I didn't think about it, and I apologize. But I took 4 animal control calls last month. And I've already taken one already, because he was otherwise assigned by the sheriff. And again, that's not a ding on him, and that's not a ding on the sheriff. I mean, you gotta handle your operations to the best of your ability. But I think that we would, you know, my officers, and I've kind of touched base with them, and I think they're pretty well on board with it too. That if we needed to, after hours, and if they're unavailable to do it, if like, for instance, they make an arrest and they need a dog picked up, then whoever the on-call supervisor would be, either myself or Lieutenant Solomon, would come out and respond and take care of that too. Again, just bare bones kind of.
Anything else? I'll ask for a roll call.
Barnes,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Hastings,
Yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Pistol,
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Thank you for that reading, Council. Brings us down to public comments. Brings us down to mayor's comments. Chuck wagon work races went really well. I want to thank all the churches, even Athletic, one I didn't mention. But they all came together, and always a big hit, homemade desserts, and I can't thank the churches enough. Businesses really anteed up, and I appreciate that, and a lot of you volunteers showed up and worked hard, and I appreciate that. The donations for the cowboys and cowgirls, biggest year we've ever had in donations. I think we fed eight to nine-ish, am I wrong? Something like that. And 800 to 900, and donated $3,325. 100% will go to the Senior Citizen Center, Van Buren County. We include Shirley and Scotland.
How much?
$3,325. Most we've ever had at one time, and it pushed us over the $15,000. Danny Newland announced that several times, and real proud of people that come here every year. I know y'all are. Van Buren County Fair is going on right now, so when you leave here, you can go over there if we don't have a bunch of water leaks, but which we don't. Thank you, Will. Corrine and all her bunch works hard, and all the cities helped out, and go support them. This Saturday is, of course, 9/11, I think. Remember that, flags will be at half-staff. And Tim mentioned that just a couple of Andy Shaw's passing. Will and I went up and met his replacement. He's irreplaceable, but he was a great human being. A guy named Brandon Dunn, had a really good visit with him. I'd encourage council to go meet him, like you sat down with Andy that time. It'd be good for that. And I always say, you know, there's Andy Shaw, you're right. There's when I say good people, there's Ralph James and Slater Mahan and J.F. Cullum. And that's people that you can't say anything bad about. And Andy, you know, they can say a lot of good about us and a lot of bad, but that guy, that he never cross-grained anybody. He was a really good guy, and they're all taking it pretty tough. He's got a family, and he's a very close friend of Steve Good. So we're definitely praying for his family and that all that family up there where they work. Adam Brock lost his mom, and he's back at work, and he's a good guy too. So tough times, but enjoy the weekend. Go to that fair, and thank you all for coming. I'll entertain a motion second to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.